Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Tuesday, August 4th. Hoping everybody's having a great start to the morning. Had a pretty eventful evening last night in the markets. Took a trade off of the band signal that I have been... I ended up taking a trade on the first band yesterday with my live trading room. Ended up taking a loss on that one. The band did end up working. But on the bigger side, unfortunately, and let's see if I go back to that trade here. So this is the one where we ended up taking a loss here. Took a short at the 28,913. Ended up getting stopped out right above this band, and it was pretty much, this was the pivot of that band. We then came all the way down. The weekly band would have worked out. I ended up taking the daily band only, so I ended up getting stopped out there for about $105 loss, which kind of stunk because I was waiting for that setup for a while. But yesterday in the evening, the next band that we had sitting right above it that I've been talking about for quite some time, took a really nice trade here. I think it was a 1-2. It was a little bit more than a 1-2 risk to reward. Very little drawdown on this trade, and ended up taking full TP on that one as well. Ended up making $176 on that trade. So again, the risk to reward on these bands and these levels that I give you guys will always make up for the bands that, unfortunately, in fact, that band ended up working really well. It's just where I ended up taking it from the more detailed scalp area. I ended up taking a loss on there. But you can see here, I post yesterday's bands, levels, all of them held really well. This was actually the end of the trade. I ended up taking it over at the night. So let's go over, Kevin, good morning. Let's go over what we've got brewing here this morning. We've got a pretty big piece of liquidity sitting above us at the 29,364. 29,364, this is a previous weekly high from last week. So again, good amount of liquidity sitting here. Let me get rid of this guy. Don't need him. This is the band that we want to talk about here this morning. Okay, this band right here from the 29,645 to the 29,598, and specifically this little sliver right down here. Now, what I try to do is I really try to maximize your risk to reward on these trades. So I'm going to show you two options on this band. Very, very strong, very high conviction on this band here. Again, not sure, if we get here today, if we get here tomorrow, if we retrace back down into the 28,000s. But if we come up to this 29, let's just say 29,600, just for make easy sense. Get ready to take a short in this area. Okay, there's nothing else to look for here besides shorts. Okay, and specifically this guy right here. Okay, if there's ever a time to have a limit order put in, a limit order right here for short is going to pay you pretty handsomely. Now, the only exception to this rule is going to be, obviously high impact news that's either scheduled or unscheduled. That's always what we're kind of fighting in this current market right now. But I'll show you guys what this is going to look like on two different options of trades here. So again, your conservative approach, and again, this is the highest concentration right now of short volume that I personally see in the market. It's going to be extremely difficult for the market to get through this one right here. I am very much looking forward to this one, and I'm going to show you exactly how I would trade this. So again, limit order at the 29,598.50. To be exact. Limit order right there. Stop loss sitting a few points above the band, so around the 649s. And on this trade here, I would be trading, if you're taking the entire band, a 1 to 5 risk, a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. Okay. That's going to be option number 1. Now, the option that I am super excited about is going to be the same limit order short at the same area. Stop sitting just above this band. So around the 29,608s is enough. That's all you need. And on this trade, you can be targeting a 1 to 5 risk to reward with no sweat. Okay. We're talking about 10 points of risk here to make 50 points. You want to bring it down to 40 points, 1 to 4, no problem. This is super high conviction here this morning, guys. These don't come around super often. Let me put in here option number 2. If you want to pass an eval, you want to pass an Apex, a Lucid, Tradeify eval. Personally, what I have been doing that has been working extremely well, I ended up buying a batch of end of day drawdown Apex accounts about 2 weeks ago when they were running their 5-pack sale. And literally all I've been doing is setting a limit order at the bottom of my bands, okay, especially my super strong bands, and passing them in one swoop. And what I do is I put a 50-point stop, which is the daily loss limit that I have on those Apex accounts, with a 152-point take profit off of these bands. They have to be off of these weekly bands, okay? Nothing else. It's got to be the weekly band. Sorry, that W is not so great. And out of the 5 batches that out of the 5 accounts that I out of the 5 accounts that I purchased, 2 of them have already been turned into PAs. 2 have been blown, and 1 is left. 1 is left. Now, unfortunately, the one that I had, I believe it was yesterday, ended up getting stopped out on that first band that I ended up taking a loser on my cash account. Ended up being a loser, but it went, literally, it stopped me out by about 5 points, and then went straight down to the where the 150-point take profit would have been at. So they will work. It's a great strategy to pass eval, especially on a one-time basis if you have that availability. I know some on Lucid, Tradeify, they might have some consistency or days that you need to trade for you to get that in. If it's a multi-day pass, this is probably not the strategy that you want to use. Okay, this is typically works really good for your one-day to pass props. So these options, guys, are going to be super golden here on the NQ. Don't snooze on these. I promise you, you're going to see me post these on Discord, and you will be, I think, pleasantly surprised. All right, so some key levels below us. Prior day high is sitting at the 28,963. Current day open is at the 28,929. Again, putting more weight on these, even though yesterday's prior day open ended up being a really nice pivot on the NQ. We do have a weekly band here at the 28,875 to the 28,829. I'm going to tell you guys to avoid this band on the NQ. We could see a reaction here, but it's not super strong. It's super balanced out. In fact, the entire move from last night, again, how I see the market it was really balanced, even though we've had a really nice move to the upside. I mean, you can't, these buyers have been pretty strong. But if we kind of take a look at price action here, minusing out, oh, this was the trade from last night. This is my, this was from the band from last night. So the band was sitting right here. I'm sorry, my weekly band was sitting something like this. And then remember, I had a daily band sitting right here. I ended up taking this band right here. Very little drawdown, full TP. And this one was a 1 to 2.16 risk to reward on this trade. So again, it ended up taking a loss for $107, which, you know, I posted on Discord on that first setup. Ended up taking a loss. No big deal. Just, you got to keep going at it. You got to keep going. I'm definitely feel really comfortable with my limit orders at these bands, especially these super strong bands that are based off of the weekly weekly levels. They're very, 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 very strong. So as I was going to talk to you guys about the current status of the market. So this is kind of like our overnight move here. Let's see if I can scrunch this up even a little bit more, just so we can kind of see all of price action. Okay. So we did have a nice move from this band right here. This is pretty much where we have this daily band down below that I was talking to you guys about earlier. Again, I'm not super interested in this band here this morning. I put it in here because there is unbalanced volume. This is an area where we should see support in the market. But again, I just don't have a very strong high conviction on this band. So this one's going to get X-nayed for today. But you can see nice move to the upside, nice retracement, move, retracement, move, retracement, move, retracement, move up, retracement, retracement, move up, retracement back down to this area right here. Every single move, you can see purple, green, purple, green, purple, green. You can see the wicks coming back into these areas. All this is unbalanced. I'm sorry, it's all balanced volume, okay, on this move to the upside. And you can say, Rob, well, why don't we have any bands, you know, sitting in here that you really like? Well, it's because the market is in a very, very balanced state. And as the market is in balanced state, we are looking for unbalanced volume. Gave you guys a really good demonstration of what I consider to be unbalanced volume. But I'll give it to you one more time here. Let me turn this guy off. All right, so when we get a market condition like this, and then we have an unbalanced move, this is a area of impulse, okay? Super strong move to the upside. Again, us as retail traders, we can't make these type of moves, okay? You've heard this 100 times from 100 different people, but this is the true concept of the market. When you get an impulsive move like that, that breaks structure, and that does not have any wicks on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, doesn't have any wicks coming back into this area, guys, these are the areas that you need to concentrate your trading efforts in, okay? If you're looking at every fair value gap on your way up to the upside, I guarantee you, you're going to get destroyed. Very, very difficult way to trade. Trade the base of this move, okay? ICT, I think, has a term which they call order blocks. Very, very close concept to how I trade this. I've never watched an ICT video. I've never actually watched the video on order blocks, but in knowing what an order block is really looking for, it's very, very similar to what I trade. Of course, I use the AVT method, which is very simple. It's more range-based charts to find these areas, but it's the exact same concept. And all you're looking for is these types of moves. These are the areas that you really want to concentrate your efforts on. Now, balanced is going to be something like this, which is very typical in the market as well. Okay, and the reason why these have become very difficult to trade for me, if you're not just a momentum trader or Fibonacci trader, retracement type of trader, is all of the bases where the volume made the impulsive move, they get balanced out on these retracements. Okay, and the way that I view the market is, if a market has the power to do this and doesn't need a retracement back into that area to break structure, that's it. That's a very, very strong move. Very, very strong move, very impulsive. Versus this side of the equation, yes, it breaks structure, but the only way it breaks structure is by coming back down into unbalanced volume. It's the only way for it to break structure, is coming back. So it's like having that fuel and you're kind of running out of that fuel before you get to the finish line, having to refuel your tank to be able to finish the race. Okay, so that's, I guess, the best analogy. Might not be the best analogy in the world, but hopefully you guys get the point there. So that's where we're currently sitting in this balanced market condition to the upside. Okay. Now, some areas down below that I am willing to definitely trade. As you can see, I've already got some tools already put out. These were some trades that we were looking for yesterday in my live trading room. Of course, price action was never able to get down here, but very easily, or very simply, I should say, put a limit order at the 28,682.50 for a long, short a few points below the 28,671, and this has got a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Let's see if I can maybe open this up so you guys can see a little better. So that's what this scalp down here would look like. Very easy trade for you guys. Again, all of these super prop friendly. You're looking at about 11 points of stop here. So, and then this is the last one that we're going to talk about here on the NQ. We do have a developing weekly band at the 28,597 down to the 28,529. I am not going to be trading this band. Okay, what I am going to be trading is this this beautiful level right here at the 28,574 to the 28,558. Okay, we do have the prior day open in there. It's the only thing that might skew this trade just a little bit, because again, we do have a good amount of liquidity sitting right here, good volume, but at the same time, it's a little bit towards like the middle to bottom part of this band, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather see this key level sitting a little bit above it, because typically what we do is, you know, we will come down, we'll swipe this, and then we'll make our move to the upside. Again, a lot of unbalanced volume. This is all buyer volume. The only thing that I get worried about here a little bit is, you know, we take the sweep and go. Okay, and then your 2 or 3 point stop loss sitting down here might get tagged. It's a risk that we take in trading. I would say just take them, because, you know, the ones that you super analyze are typically the ones that, you know, or I should say you're super cautious on. Typically the ones that now again, if there's something there that really invalidates a signal or a trade, you know, it's a different story, but that's one that you want to take. Now let's take a look at the ES. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I just got to add one thing on the ES here. All right, I'm back. All right, so let's What do we got brewing right here? We've got a where'd my tool go? There it is. We've got a tradable level here at the 76.61. This is a nice little scalping level that you can look for here on the ES. Again, on these levels, just stick to a 5-point stop and a 5-point TP on these levels right here, the 76.61. That's an easy one. I don't think I got anything above me, so let's go look below us. We've got prior day high sitting down here, 76.37. Current open at the 76.31. Let's keep going to the downside here. Get rid of this guy. Our first daily bands that we can scalp from, this is all seller. I'm sorry. Take that off. This is all buyer controlled volume, 75.73 to the 75.67. Again, price action comes down here. All we're going to do is take out your position tool, top of the band. Ooh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I'm not sure. That's not right. Let's do that one over again. That's a long. All right, it's much better. We'll set our stop here first, and then we'll work on our TP. Let me blow this up here a little bit. All right, limit order 75. I don't think that's right at there. There we go. 75.73. Stop loss sitting 1 point below the band, 75.66. On this one, it's going to be 1-to-1 risk to reward. 1-to-1 risk to reward on this trade. So your take profit here would be at the 75.80. Again, entry 75.73. Stop loss 75.67. And again, right after this live show ends, the recording goes up on YouTube, so you're always able to come back, take a look at these levels, and map them out. Hopefully you're mapping them out as I go. Prior day open 75.70, prior day low 75.42, and then we've got a few things here that we've already gone through. Let's get rid of these guys. All right, and then gave you guys, pop it up here on Discord. It's also on X. I highly recommend you guys follow me on X. Every single morning I will give you one hand-picked level on either the NQ, the ES, or in gold that is hand-picked for a scalp. These are all going to be 1-to-1s. On the ES, it's going to be 5-point TP, 5-point stop loss. On the NQ, it's going to be 15-point TP, 15-point stop loss, all 1-to-1. Today's level is going to be on the ES, 74.54. Very, very strong level right here to take a scalp of. As you can see, it's also coincides really nicely with this daily band that I've got sitting here at the 74.53.50 to the 74.49. Okay. So again, don't snooze on these levels. I post these every morning in my Discord and on X. If you could follow me on X, I really appreciate it. Started posting this week, brand new. I think I have 5 followers currently. So, and again, these are going to be, I know this level is really, it's kind of low on the totem pole as far as where price action is currently at. But in the NQ, we can get here in a jiffy. So those are the setups currently on ES and on the NQ. If we take a look at gold, we're kind of sitting in the same spot as we were yesterday. Actually, since Sunday, we've kind of been sitting in this area right here. We do have 2 bands to look forward. You've got sellers sitting up here at the 41.71 to the 41.56. And you've got buyers sitting below us at the 40.66.2 to the 40.52.7. So those are the 2 bands that we currently have in gold. And that's kind of your roadmap here for the morning. We do have we do have a pretty good amount of high impact news here this morning. We got some earnings. Let's get to the. So today we've got U.S. trade balance at 7:30 here in about 4 minutes. We got JOLTS job openings and U.S. factory orders at 9 a.m. And then this afternoon, we've got SpaceX earnings at 3 p.m. and AMD earnings at 3:15 p.m. For those of you that, I don't know, were like me, that were kind of waiting and hoping for these single stock futures to arrive. They did not have the best reception. Apparently there was, and these were some things that we were talking about in the live show. I've been talking about it with my live stream members, that you know, we were kind of questioning, like, you know, who's the initial market makers for those type of new products. You know, there's got to be a market established for it. There's got to be a market maker there that's going to create liquidity for these types of markets, like the single stock futures, which was rolled out, I think over a decade ago, that flopped. I did believe that that market would be strong for. I thought there would be a good demand for it, but apparently, in the beginning, there was not. The market makers kind of pulled out of that market, and I know that the CME they pulled the data feed to NinjaTrader on the single stock futures. At least that's what was told to me by customer support at Ninja, because I was trying to get stock data on there. Let me just pull it up and see if anything has changed here. Single stock futures. We'll pull up Nvidia. Let's just see if we get any chart data here or not. I don't think we will, but it's loading. All right, so there's at least some data. This is much better than what I have seen previously. I haven't seen anything, but this right here tells you that there is zero liquidity in these stock futures as of right now. I do believe that it's going to change. I still feel that there is a market for futures traders that have always wanted to trade individual stocks. And you might be able to say, Rob, what's the point of, you know, why are these so, why are you so like interested in these? Which I really am. I am really interested in these. So this is, you're seeing NQ label here, but that's just a watermark that I have. This is the actual Nvidia chart, which you can see is zero liquidity there. Let me just see if I pull up Tesla, if Tesla's got anything different. No, it's the same garbage. So very little liquidity in the books right there. So let me just go back to NQ. And then we'll go back to this chart right here. Here's some reasons that I have that I think that why the single stock futures I think is a good option for some people. You know, on let's just call it what it is, 60 to 70% of your days on the NQ are going to be range bound days, okay, where you're kind of sitting in a choppy environment. But there could be, within the Nasdaq, there could be some sectors in the Nasdaq or in the NQ that are flying, that are moving really, really good. Okay, so it could be chip sector, they could be software, hardware. You know, depending on what sector might be flying that morning, you can then say, okay, you know what, today I'm not going to trade the NQ because the NQ seems to be very, very rangy and not very, very choppy. Let me go move over to Intel or AMD or Tesla, and let me get on an instrument that is actually moving for that morning. And I think that that's one good reason for these single stock futures to you know, to work. Now there are some cons to that side as well, because then you need to kind of track multiple markets, multiple instruments, multiple macro events within that. Earnings obviously is super important. So you do have to be on top of your game when it comes to looking at individual stocks. But it's the same concept, and the same strategy that you have on the NQ should work on the single stock futures or on the stock market. If they don't, you might need to relook at the strategy, to be honest with you, because a strategy should carry over well throughout all markets. That's just what I've always considered. And when I find strategies that are very, very specific to just one instrument, I tend to question that pretty strongly. Now, yes, there are some instruments that are going to move very, very differently, and you might need to adjust based on the movement, but the overall concept of market theory and how an auction takes place in the all day, every day, does not change between markets. That's for sure. So again, quick recap on what I'm looking for this morning. This NQ trade setup right here, in my opinion, is going to be super A+. From the 29,598.50 to the 29,645, and again a little bit more detailed on this scalp right here. This one's sitting, stop loss is sitting at the 29,608. So again, about a 10-point stop right here, and this is a 50-point target. This is a 1 to 5 risk to reward right here. So obviously, if you want to go to 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Awesome. But this is going to be one of those that, again, they don't come around very often, but when they do, you can really, really capitalize on your fundeds. If you want to pass some evals, great area to pass an eval from right here. Pretty much almost on one fell swoop right here. So this is what I'm most interested on the NQ from a short perspective, and then from a long perspective on the NQ. Really the first area that I'd be interested in here is the 28,682. Okay, very easy scalp here. This is about 11 points. 11 points of stop. It's exactly 11 points of stop right here. And this is a 1 to 2 risk to reward. J-Loves, good morning. Trader 007, good morning. I'll give you a few minutes here if you've got any questions for me. Now's the time to shoot them at me, and I will do my best to answer them for you. All right, I don't see any new questions here in the chat. I will be doing a giveaway on this Thursday, upcoming Thursday. So make sure you log in here on the live morning show here at 7 a.m. Central Time. And then Friday, obviously, Cash Profit Friday, where we'll do a full live trading session. And that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys stay disciplined in the markets. Hopefully you guys stay green, and watch out for these setups. I'll post them in Discord as they happen. I also will be posting them on my X account. Kind of excited about the X. I don't know why. My kids helped me with that, but If you haven't, follow me on X. I would appreciate it. All right, guys, take care. And